Hey, we are back. Welcome to Easy Out Podcast, presented by Back Home Media and Fat Kid Productions. I am your host, Sarah Rogers, and with me tonight is my co-host, Cape. Cape, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. What's up with you? How's your week been?
Ass.
Okay.
My week sucked. It hasn't been a good week for me, baseball-wise, work-wise, or anything else, so I'm having a drink tonight.
For real, I don't even remember what it's like to see my baseball team win a game. So
it's been a few days.
Yeah, it has.
It's been a very long few days. We've already got a comment over here. Our buddy Matt Sondag, our resident Astros fan, just wants to say so far he is disappointed in the Stros. Matt, you missed it. We made the entire Astros Twitter fan base mad the other day.
Pissed them off.
We don't care, but it was fun. We still love some of our Astros.
Yeah, they were talking about the quality of the shirts, what the shirt had on. Like, they really thought we gave a fuck what they thought. We didn't make those shirts for them.
No, we made those shirts to make fun of people, so we didn't really.
I mean, there's 29 other ball teams, and we made that shirt for those 29 teams.
Basically, that's what happened. But it's all good. I'm pretty tough. I don't really. It doesn't hurt my feelings any. Hey, we're gonna play a little game tonight. During the show, if you hear Cape say the words "piss missile," take a drink. That is the game. We're going to start this every week. We'll pick a new Cape phrase of the night, and we'll go with it.
You know what? Let's just start this off right, okay? Piss missile.
Everybody drink. That's a good beer. I tried a new beer tonight, and so far I'm really impressed.
What do you got?
Boulevard Brewing Company Easy Sport Rally Ale. Can't really see it because of my green screen.
I've got this. This beer comes out of St. Louis, Missouri. It's called
Budweiser.
I had it or not, but it's pretty good.
You know what? Speaking of St. Louis, Missouri, do they have a baseball team anymore?
No, they don't. Actually, last I heard that most teams are 20 games in, and they've played 5. So it's probably about time they throw in the white tile off. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know how they come back from this. And then they had another positive test today. Did I read that correctly?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, they should probably stay out of casinos, but also, like, they just suck as it is. Like, nobody likes them, period, other than people from the Midwest. So they should probably just forfeit,
They should. I feel like there needs to be, like, I know that it's going to be determined by win percentage, but I don't feel like you should get a chance in that situation.
No, they've fucked up so bad. I mean, the whole going to a casino thing, but every day it's something else with them. Like, when does it get to a point where, Manfred's never going to do anything. Sure, fire Manfred, Chatting Average podcast. But
yes.
Manfred's never going to do anything. But if I was commissioner, I'd be like, hey, listen, guys, you fucked your chance up. Like, the Marlins have at least figured something out to where they can play baseball games and field a team. But I would tell the Cardinals, like, hey, guys, you fucked up. Like, I'm sorry, but you're not playing baseball anymore this year. Because they're at a point now they're going to have to play like 20 doubleheaders to catch up.
I feel like it's completely justified to do that to them. Let's see. Over here, Matt says it's good to be a heel sometimes. Matt, I think that's the road I'm going to take. Like, I'm friends with 29 fan bases. I'm going to find one and piss them off and just be the bane of their existence. And you know what's really funny is right behind me, George Springer.
Springer
Dingers. I'm here for him all year. We're going to talk about Springer and his lack of dingers later in the show. But Matt also says this is just like when Hulk Hogan turned into a bad guy. And Inky says great shirt, Cape. I love you.
I love you, Inky.
We love Inky. Inky tells me I love you every day, and it helps. It makes me feel a lot better. So Cardinals have been fucking up. Honestly, you know what? Get Jack Flaherty off that team, please.
Thank you. Like, if you would have told me this 8 months ago, 9 months ago, 10 months ago, I'd been like, fuck Jack Flaherty. But the more I've learned about the kid, I really do like him. And he deserves so much better than to be on a poverty franchise like the Cardinals.
I agree. I think Jack Flaherty needs to have a tomahawk on his uniform.
I have to agree at this point.
I just think that'd be a good idea. And I know an organization that has tomahawks on their uniforms that could really use a starting pitcher. And since he's not playing anyway.
Dude, that's crazy because I only know one Major League Baseball team with tomahawks on their jerseys. And I also only know one Major League Baseball team that's down 4 starting pitchers. So
they need some people. And there's a guy over here that's really good that's not playing. So if this dude named Alex Anthopoulos would just get on the phone and make something happen, that'd be really cool. I
understand it's for any general manager, not just the Braves. I mean, the Braves are in a tough spot right now, really. With they didn't come in. I mean, a lot of shit's happened to them, but also you're in a 60-game season. Are other GMs really going to be willing to deal players? I mean, you're going to have to give up the fucking farm to get a starting pitcher right now. So,
and
as bad as that sucks, the Braves are probably going to have to continue on with their young guns and pitching bullpen games. And, that's just what it is right now, which sucks.
It's kind of becoming like the way it is for a lot of teams. There's a lot of little naggy injuries that are happening. And that's kind of the nature of the beast with something that's this fast paced and with lack of preparation. We knew we were going to see a lot of little stupid injuries like this. A lot of
with a 2-week summer training, you were going to see that.
Yeah, you're going to see some of that stuff happening. Poor Soroka, like that's just a freak accident.
Yeah.
You don't plan on that happening.
You can't plan for that. There's nothing that told you that was going to happen. The kid, he'd already twice in the game. He'd already took off for first base, covered first base, and made the play. So I mean, he literally that's just a freak accident. You can't plan for that. You can't plan around it. The kid's fucking Achilles exploded on the field.
That was the grossest thing I've seen.
Oh yeah, it was disgusting.
It still just makes me crawl whenever I even think about it. But even outside of that, you had Soroka, you had Fried, we have Cole Hamels for a year. Kyle Wright has looked pretty decent so far. Tukey didn't look great in his last start, but before that, he was looking.
It was fucking phenomenal.
So, I mean, you're still down a couple people no matter what happened.
I think what helps Tukey, though, last year before last, they called Tukey up, let him start a game, send him right back down to Gwinnett. I think if you give the kid the confidence, I'm going to start every 5 days, I think he'll get it,
He's got
his second start, he pitched a great game. 5 days later, he's pitching the first game in Yankee Stadium. Get the fuck out of here. That's going to be hard for anybody, especially a kid that's barely pitched in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, definitely. And they've had him in the wrong spot for so long. Now that he's made to be a starter. Like you can tell that's a lot more his thing.
100%.
I just think it'll take him a little bit of time, but I think Tukey's got the stuff to do it. Nuke, I don't have a lot of confidence. Yeah,
I mean, I like Nuke. Shouts out to Bill, his dad. Me and him are friends on Twitter. I like Nuke a lot. Nuke is a reliever. I would have 6 months ago, I would have been like, you know what? I watched him damn near no-hit the Dodgers. I think Nuke's but I just think his attitude's so much better out of the bullpen. I really think he's got that chip on his shoulder coming out of the bullpen that he doesn't have as a starter. So I don't know. The Braves really don't have an option right now. Like they're going to have to start him. They don't. I mean, it's either him or they can pull Steven Matzik or Josh Tomlin, but they really don't want to pull either one of them because they're so good middle relief.
You need those guys out of the bullpen right now.
Yeah, I really do. I mean, their only option is really just keep running with Newcomb.
It's kind of becoming a theme throughout Major League Baseball this year, though. You're seeing openers more than starters. Some of them are being called starters, but I don't really feel like they're filling that role. I don't really think that's a bad thing, though. I mean, you can have that if you've got some bullpen depth. If you're the Phillies, you definitely want starters. But
it's funny. I think for the first time ever, I think the Atlanta Braves have got more closers on their active roster right now than they do starters.
They probably do.
They've got Blanton, they've got Shane Green, they've got Will Smith, and then starter-wise, they have Max Fried.
Pretty much.
That's the first time ever. I think the team's got more closers signed to it than they do starters.
I mean, I think they definitely need to make some kind of effort. It's going to be rough to see what people are going to do as far as trading for pitchers. I mean, we've only got a couple weeks left, and we haven't really seen any big deals. I think we need to see something from several teams. Like the Red Sox. Good Lord, the Red Sox need pitching.
They're not. They don't
17-8 to Tampa Bay. Like, the Red Sox need some pitching. That's not a fun thing at all. See, Reese Tate over here in the comments says Piz Missile.
Should I say it?
Are you trying to get everybody to drink, Reese? Is that what you want to do?
How about a good old piss missile?
Drink up. Hey, you guys, while we're at it, share the show. Let's get some more comments in here. Let's get everybody rocking. We had a pretty hopping chat last week, so let's get that going again this week. Inky says Tucker Davidson deserves a shot at the rotation. I agree. He looked great in spring training.
I 100% agree with that.
Reese Tate says Luke Jackson's a closer. I like you, Reese. I love me some Luke Jackson.
That's my buddy. I love me some Reese.
So let's see. The Cardinals don't exist. How about the Indians drama? Night out in Chicago. Zach Plesac goes out for drinks with buddies in the middle of a pandemic.
Then the next night, Clevenger's gone.
And then we find out, Plesac gets caught sneaking back into the hotel. And then we find out that Clevenger had been with him. So they are both
Oh my God.
quarantined.
Can we go off subject for a second?
Go off the subject. That's fine. We don't have to.
Did you see the Seattle Seahawks drama today?
No, I didn't.
I cannot remember his name. He's a cornerback for the Seahawks. He got caught sneaking a girl into their training camp area.
Wait, isn't Russell Wilson the Seahawks quarterback?
Yeah, no, corner, not quarter.
Corner, okay.
Yeah,
see. I was like, ooh, that's about to be
not Sierra's husband. He was sneaking this girl in, but she was dressed up like a Seahawks. He tried to sneak her in as a Seahawks player, and she's like 5'3". Like, bro, she does not look like a football player.
That's like me trying to get in.
Yeah, but no, he's been he's done.
Well, and there's there were people posted on Twitter that they had been invited into the NBA bubble.
Yeah. I mean, I know someone that's been invited into the bubble, so.
Yeah, you've got people that have been invited in there. You got all kinds of other stuff happening. Reese Tate says rookie's gonna rookie. Yeah, they are. They're gonna rookie it up real hard. What else? Okay, so Cleve Plesac both quarantined for 14 days. Is that how long they're out?
Yeah, I think it was 12.
12?
It might have been 14. I think
that's 2 starts apiece.
Yeah.
That's not good for the Indians. Then we had another LOL Mets moment. We should make that a segment, LOL Mets moment of the week.
We should, but we shouldn't because they really just don't even deserve our time.
Marcus Stroman, who has been on the injured list, has opted out of the season. He gets his service time.
What a brilliant, brilliant guy. He gets traded to the Mets. Nobody wants to play for the fucking Mets. He gets traded to the Mets. He manipulates his service time, waits till the day, opts out. Now the kid can be a free agent in the offseason and never had to play a single game for the Mets. Brilliant kid. If teams are going to manipulate service time to their advantage, why the
Absolutely.
fuck can't do it?
There were a lot of people that were bitching about him on there. I don't think you can hold him at fault at all. I mean, you see teams they'll call guys up after the service time has passed so that they can't gain that. They get more control that way.
Today was the service date.
So how many people do we think are getting called up tomorrow?
I mean, I saw the Phillies called somebody up today. It'd be hard pressed for me to believe that the Braves don't call up some rookies today or tomorrow.
I think it happens. I don't really see the people I want to see coming up, but I think we see some people get called back up. But I mean, you see the teams do it all the time. I don't think you can fault a player for doing it. That's a smart business move. I think it's a great idea. Good on him.
Yeah. No, if the teams are going to fuck kids and do that shit to kids, why can't the players do it to the teams? Fuck
Absolutely. Them. I think they have every right to. So we just mentioned the NBA bubble. I want to talk about the possibility of an MLB bubble. What does that look like? And do we think it's really going to happen? I
mean, there's one of two. You either got to do it in Florida or do it in Arizona. And that's 2 of the fucking most distraught places with COVID right now. So I don't – what you're doing right now is working other than the Cardinals and the Marlins. So there's 28 teams that have done this and done it right, flown, played baseball. I don't see the point in doing a bubble. I get it. I get that you want to do it and look responsible, but the only place you can do it and pull it off would be, in my opinion, would be
Spring training sites.
Florida, where spring training's at. And those are two of the hardest hit places in the country right now. So I don't understand the reasoning behind it. I think it's a talking point for baseball right now. I think they just want people to have shit to talk about, but we'll see.
You know, I see.
I'm going to support it either way. I want to see fucking postseason baseball. So
yeah, definitely.
How they got to get it done.
You know, I could even see like maybe neutral site type of thing where you have, well, and I mean, you're not going to be traveling that much though.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, you can't do it indoors.
No.
It has got to be outside. Baseball is a game played outside. You cannot do it in a dome stadium. It's going to have to be played outside. So
I mean, what are you going to do? Have them go play at the new Rangers stadium? Like, close the dome on them? I don't think that works.
I mean, in my opinion, I think it's working right now. As long as you follow protocols, I think it's working right now. My suggestion to Major League Baseball would be, how about you just shut the fuck up, play another month of baseball, and see where you're at then.
Absolutely.
Now, have a contention plan, have a plan in place. So if you do have to go into a bubble, you can do that. But just play baseball right now. Let them play.
I don't even know if they have time to get a plan in place, though. Like at this point in time, you're going, hey,
baseball. They're never going to get a plan right.
Period.
No, they're going to fuck it up somewhere. So
this is probably the most chaotic sport out of all of them. And
yeah, well, they also have the biggest dumbass as a commissioner. So
I would agree there 100%. We are not fans of.
Here you go.
Good old Rob Manfred. Fire that motherfucker.
Shout out to the Chatting Average podcast. Fire Manfred.
We're going to be, I want to do a little thing here at the end where we're going to shout out everybody that's got a podcast that we love. We like to show the love to everybody. Get the word out for you guys. Let's see. Let's look over at the comments real quick before we move on. Let's see. We already got that one. LOL Mets is their whole organization. Reese Tate. I mean, they should just change the name of the team to LOL. Like, forget calling them the Mets. Just call them LOL. I think that'd be great.
Have you ever seen their logo that it just says LMAO instead?
Oh yeah, people have been posting that like crazy.
Yeah, that should just be their fucking logo.
I mean, it's a bad deal all around for the Mets. Wendy, hi Wendy, we love you, Wendy. Wendy says I want Stroman to sign with the Braves. I'd be all for that too.
Could not agree more with Wendy right there.
There are pitchers that are going to become available, and I really think we should go snatch them all up. Inky says Joe Seppi does not even want to play for the Mets.
Damn.
I saw Joe playing catch the other day. He's got some skills. Like the Mets could use him.
Yeah.
See, we got one over here. So are y'all mad at all the teams or just the player that contracted it and spread the virus? They were all being dumb.
We're mad at you, Matt, because you're a Cardinals fan.
I finally like Cape's shirt. At what point does MLB pull and what did you say here? Pull an MLS. Okay, sorry. I was reading the other side of the screen and it looked real tiny. And tell a team they've missed too many games and they're done.
Yeah,
you know what? I think it needs to happen.
Question. Yeah.
I think if the Cardinals go much longer and keep getting these
they have played 5 games.
We're
a third into the season. Most teams have played 20 games, 20-plus games now, and they have played 5. Fuck them. Sorry, Matt. I know you're a Cardinals fan, but
that's a quarter of this. That's a quarter of what we've made through the season. We are a third of the way through the season right now. Yeah. The Cardinals have played a quarter of those games.
Yeah, what happens there is you could say, yeah, we make them play double headers, but that's cool for them. That fucks every team that they've got to play. You mean to tell me that the teams that they've got to play have got to fucking come up with a doubleheader roster and play doubleheaders back to back now because your team was fucking stupid and went out and did shit they shouldn't have done? No.
So we're going to have more guys getting hurt, more guys going on very little rest because everybody else has to scramble. Like the Cubs are on fire right now.
For Cardinals fans, but it's just that's where we're at right now. That's what it is. your team was fucking irresponsible and did shit they shouldn't have done.
Like, even the Marlins got it under control.
Yeah, they figured it out.
The fucking Marlins got it under control, and the Cardinals can't. Like, there's a problem in that organization. And I think it comes all the way from their GM being like, it's sickening that people want to know what happened. Teams that are doing what they're supposed to be doing have a right to know what happened. Like, that's crazy. Wendy says he would be awesome. Wendy also says LOL Inky at the Joe Seppi comment. We love Joe Seppi here, by the way. I don't think he's watching. He's probably driving his truck, but we love Joe Seppi here. So let's talk about some more news. We'll get away from COVID for a minute because COVID just kind of pisses me off. I'm so over the whole situation right now.
Oh, hey, update. My mom got a negative test. My mom is negative.
Hey!
Yep.
There you go, mama. That's good news. We like that.
That's where Blakely's at right now. Freddie's out of town. Blakely's with my mom. So your boy Cape's at home by himself right now. So
you guys, this is a dangerous, dangerous world we're living in when Cape's home alone.
Pistol.
Have a drink, everybody. About to get real messy tonight. So this came out right after the last show, and this would have been a great topic because we touched on this subject during the show last week. They have charged an Angels staffer in the death of Tyler Skaggs.
Yep.
For distributing those pills to him. What do you think about that? I think it's a good call. I think it's
a great call. My thing is, if you're making the money that these guys are, it's not going to be hard for you to go out and find somebody to buy drugs for. You don't need someone on the team to fucking help you.
Absolutely. I think
you don't need someone there so readily available, just be like, hey, man, here's drugs. You don't need that. They can already fucking go buy them from anywhere. So why the fuck is a team, someone on the team helping them in their demise? Like, it's just, I think it's absolute utter bullshit. I think the dude should get everything coming to him. I think he should get the book thrown at him. Like, it touches on what we talked about last week with mental health. There's so many more options than fucking just pilling yourself to death, you know?
Yeah, and I think somebody on the team should be like one of the first people you would think would have your best interest at heart because you work for that organization. They should want to see you do well. They shouldn't want to pump you full of pills to the point that you end up dead in a hotel room.
Yeah.
And that's somebody that should still be with us. There's no excuse for it. I mean, ultimately, yes, it was his choice to do those things, but there's so much more to it than that. And I think this is a good call. I want to see this happen more often in these cases. I know they went after the guys like in the Mac Miller case. They went after those guys too.
Yeah.
I think that should be happening. We just had a bust here where I live where they found like hundreds of fentanyl pills.
Yeah. No, so where I live in Gainesville, Georgia. I'm about an hour and 30 minutes north of Atlanta, and there's like a house, like just a random house in like a little suburb neighborhood, and they bust them with like $500,000 worth of fentanyl. They said it was enough to kill like 430,000 people. Like,
Jesus.
I'm like, what? That's
crazy.
Why the fuck should anybody have that? Like,
I don't know. It's part of the problem that we have widespread around here, and it's
not just a baseball problem. There's an opioid problem in this country. That
absolutely.
I hope to God one day, all you do is pray about it and hope we get somebody that can figure it out. But it's spilled over into the sport we love, and that's a fucking problem.
Yeah, that's when it's a tragedy no matter what, no matter who it happens to. It's always a tragedy, but when it starts, creeping into your world, that's when you really take notice of it. And it sucks, and I hate it. I hate the whole thing. So I don't want to spend too long on that because it just kind of really upsets me. So let's talk about something a little more fun. I spent the entire off season praying for baseball to come back so I could see a good fight. And then all of this happened, and it was, you have to be social distanced, no fighting allowed, no blah, 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 blah. You can't do this. You can't do that. And my dreams were shattered. But thanks to the A's and the Astros the other day, my dreams came back to life and I got a real live baseball fight.
No.
I know it wasn't as great as it could have been.
No, Alex Cintron is a fucking bitch.
Yes. Thank you. That's where I'm going with all of this. You know what? Laureano had every right to be mad. Drilled 3 times in that series.
Yeah.
Not okay at all. I get people are going to be chirping at each other. You're going to be barking from the dugout. You're going to be running your mouth. And then you bring his mom into it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Cintron gets all pigeon-chested and is like, fuck you, said what he said about his mom. He's standing there like this, telling him to come on. And the minute fucking Laser Ramon runs over there, you let your whole fucking team get in front of you and him. Fuck you. You're a sissy. I'll go with a nicer word.
We'll go with that one. I agree. I don't like it. I think he absolutely deserves that 20 games he got. And if he fights that, go fuck yourself, buddy. I mean, the only bad thing is that doesn't impact the Astros in any way. That's their hitting coach. Obviously, things aren't going well for him this year anyway.
Holy shit, their hitting coach isn't shaped like a trash can?
Right?
Damn, that's news to me. I didn't even know they had a hitting coach.
You know what? Dallas Braden said the most brilliant thing about this. He said he was really surprised that the Astros hitting coach, and this isn't going to be word for word because I can't remember the whole quote, but he was really surprised that the Astros hitting coach of all people did not want to participate in something that he could see coming from a mile away.
Yes, that's gold. Yeah.
I love everything that Dallas Braden has said about that situation. I absolutely love it.
Hey, if Dallas Braden's listening, come on the show. Let's talk.
God, yes, please, Dallas Braden. That would be – Dallas Braden is even higher on my bucket list than some of the other people that I want to have on here because I love – have you seen – I'm going to get off subject too. Have you seen did you watch Bauer Bites?
Yes, I did.
Did you watch the one with Dallas and Jared and Shane Bieber and Alex Wood?
Yep.
That was some good shit.
Oh, yeah.
That's like my dream right there.
One of my favorite baseball games ever is Dallas Braden throwing the fucking perfect game on Mother's Day with his grandma there.
Yeah.
It doesn't get any better than that. It's awesome.
The 19th perfect game in MLB history. I'm a big Dallas Braden fan.
Yeah.
And he has said himself, thank God Josh Donaldson was on that team and was a catcher at the time.
Yeah.
And he thanks God all the time that Josh Donaldson was on the bench that day.
Yeah. I don't blame him there.
Let's see. Oh, Reese is over here. He said, did Joe Kelly's suspension get reduced? Yes. Joe Kelly is only serving 5 games. Here's the problem with that, though. Joe Kelly is on the injured list right now. So he has to be reactivated before he can serve his 5-game suspension, which means he is going to be out for a while.
He's looking at 3 weeks.
3 weeks before he'll be back, which sucks. Ramon Laureano, however, only got a 5-game suspension for his part in the A's Astros fiasco.
This one got what, 25? 20?
He got a third of the season, and he
should have been suspended the rest of the season.
I think they should have kicked him out. Absolutely. I agree.
Well, here's my question. So, fuck Corona, fuck all this. In a 162-game regular season baseball season, a hitting coach from the dugout is chirping a dude on first base and asks him to come fight him. What's the suspension there?
If you were to equate it to what he got, so you got 20 games, that's a third of the season. What's a third of 162? Like 50 something games?
44, I think.
That'd be a quarter of it, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So 50 something would probably be a third.
60. Matt said 60 games.
Matt says 60 games.
That's bullshit. I mean, well, I'm all down for a fight. I feel like if you chirp them and don't fight them, you should get suspended. If you chirp them and you do land up throwing both, you shouldn't get suspended. Does that make sense? You should get suspended for being a fucking sissy.
If you're not willing to back your shit up, they should.
Now, if you're chirping from the dugout and you come out throwing fucking hands, then you're.
If you pull when Amir Garrett charged the Pirates dugout, which is the most beautiful moment I have ever seen in baseball.
He looked at his pitching coach and was like, hey, man, I'm going to go over there and fuck them up. Are you cool with that? This pitching coach was like, well, not really, but do what you got to do.
Go ahead. Do what you got to do.
Here's my glove. Here's my baseball. I'm going to go fuck them up real quick.
Go get them. Like if you've got – and those guys, they were running their mouths, but they fought back. So – all's fair. I think if you're going to run your mouth and then you're going to hide behind another player, it's kind of like when Josh Donaldson and Joe Musgrove got into it. As soon as Josh Donaldson threw the catcher out of the way, Musgrove wanted no part of any of that.
Oh, yeah. He saw that. I was like, nah, I'm good, bro. I'm good.
Oh, George says it'd be 54 games.
All right. 54.
That sounds, because 60 is a little more than a third. That sounds about okay.
Hey, is there any way we can kick Reese Tate out of the comment section?
We can't, unfortunately. He says don't trust Cape's math. He also says lamest piss missile ever about Kells. I think you mean Kelly. Yeah.
He said that, so he's got a drink now.
Oh, you're not going to play along?
I mean, he's in his apartment right now drinking Weller's by himself. So
let's see. What else do we have? Okay, so, and we were actually just getting ready to talk about Joe Kelly's appeal, but we already covered that. So, next up, let's get into this interview, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm excited.
So, we have the founder of the Major League Baseball Fans Association. If we want to go ahead and bring him in there. Steven, how are you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm doing well. Very excited to be here.
What's up, buddy?
Steven, how do you say your last name? Because I don't want to mispronounce it.
So it's Leonardi.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I was like, watch, it's probably something different, and I'm totally going to screw this up, and I didn't want to do that to you.
Yeah, you're good.
So, Steven, tell us, this is a new thing, right?
Yeah, so we just created this a couple of months ago, and our main focus is trying to get fans a seat at the table with Manfred, with the owners, with the Players Association, to make sure that we are pushing the needs and wants of fans all across baseball at the kind of like at the head.
Okay. So now, how are you guys, like, what's the plan to get in with MLB, with the owners?
Yeah, definitely. So that's going to be, we know, probably a little bit of a longer term goal. But so in the meantime, it's really engaging with every single fan base across baseball, understanding kind of the needs that are impacting them at the local level, be it a stadium problem out in Oakland, or maybe the price of parking out in Philly. Getting those fans on board, just collecting as many people as we can so that when we do go to baseball, we can kind of say, hey guys, this is what's happening. This is how you're treating your fans. And I mean, to be honest, we're fed up with it. And we want to start, being taken seriously, especially when it's our tickets and it's our TV viewership that's funding the whole operation.
Absolutely. Like, I know whenever I first asked you kind of what you were doing, we talked, like you mentioned the blackouts and stuff like that. That was another thing. I don't know, have you seen Bauer Bites yet? Have you watched any of that?
Just a little bit, yeah.
See, they talked about that some. I think it was Jared Carabas that touched on it, like how, well, Jared and Dallas both, I think, were saying something about that, how they've really, you can't watch your team at home if you live there, but you can't afford to buy tickets, pay for parking, feed your family, and do all of that at a game. So now you can't watch your team in any capacity.
Well, it's not just that either, though. Like, a stadium will only hold so many people. Mm-hmm. The stadium's not going to hold the amount of people that are going to watch it on television. So blackouts are, in my opinion, bullshit. So I think with what you're doing with your organization, blackouts would be a heavy, heavy place I'd want to place interest in.
Definitely. And, as we are being a more and more globalized society, we have fans that are no longer living in their local team's area. For instance, I grew up just north of Baltimore in southern Pennsylvania. My family comes from New York, kind of that Italian last name. So we grew up Yankee fans. And, it always was just kind of annoying never to be able to watch, on an MLB package that, we were paying a good amount of money for to watch the Yankee broadcasters.
Yeah.
Instead, it's going to be the local broadcasters. You have to have local cable. And, as we're seeing more and more people, especially younger fans, kind of cutting the cords with cable, baseball is just starting to alienate those fans more and more. And, we're seeing those fans kind of turning their backs and going to other sports.
Yeah, I want to touch on something there. Everybody can start. You could start an Instagram or a Twitter or a Facebook right now and show NFL highlights. You can show NBA highlights. But if you show MLB highlights, you get a cease and desist. They cut you off. There's really a major, major disconnect with Major League Baseball and their fans right now with people being allowed to show, you're not even allowed to show the game to new people. It's almost like they're like, no, the people that like baseball are the people that like baseball. We don't give a damn about new fans.
Yeah, it's very much the kind of like that old school approach of, what, we've got the people that are going to be committed with us, and we can kind of do whatever we want to them. We can give them bad product. We can give them the inability to watch teams. Like I remember going back to the blackouts. Like the map shows Iowa has 6 teams blacked out.
Yeah.
What? Yeah,
they don't even have a team in their state.
Yep. Not only do they not have a team, they're like 200 miles from the closest team. Yeah, you're telling those fans, hey, you can't watch.
You can't watch anything. See, that's like me. And I live like 6 minutes from the Kansas state line into Oklahoma. If I go into Kansas, the only team I can't watch is the Royals, which fine, whatever. I don't care about the Royals, but they may be playing somebody that I want to watch and I can't watch that game. I can still watch the Rockies, though, which is odd because where I live, I am the exact same distance from Kansas City as I am from Denver. But I'm only blacked out from one of those teams. Now, if I travel, so if I've got a game on, like pulled up on my phone to the side while I'm at work, I can pretty much watch anybody I want. Now, if I'm at home, in the teeny tiny little panhandle of Oklahoma, I am blacked out for Texas and Kansas. So I can't watch I missed the fight with the A's and the Astros because I'm blacked out from the Houston games. I missed Joe Kelly throwing at the Astros because I'm blacked out from the Houston games. And we don't have the closest MLB team to me is 7 hours away. I can go Denver, Kansas City, or the Texas Rangers. I'm right in the middle of all three. But who can go 7 hours every time they want to watch a baseball game?
Nobody can go 7 hours this year because you're not allowed to go to a fucking stadium.
Yeah, and and we're still seeing blackout rules are still in effect. It's just one of our main goals is we want to take these issues and finally get to Major League Baseball and say hey, enough is enough. We give you guys everything. I mean, you guys are running a podcast. We're trying to start this organization, and there's others like us that we're passionate baseball fans.
There's hundreds and thousands.
Exactly. And it's at the end of the day, I just keep going back. It's our dollar that's funding this whole operation. And, I used to work retail. If I treated my customers poorly when I was, working in retail, I ended up getting yelled at by my managers. I had to do what was right for the customer. Was how do I get this person back? And to be honest, it's time that Major League Baseball starts treating us the same way.
I agree. And here's a question I have for you and something y'all might want to discuss. NBA, NFL has gone to this fan-friendly concession, if that makes sense.
Yep. Yeah.
You can go to a Falcons game right now, and I know other teams have done it. I'm speaking on the Falcons because I live in Atlanta. You can go get a hot dog for $2. You can go get a beer for $5. A lot of people don't want to go to a baseball game because they're like, I got to pay $30, $40 a ticket. Then once I get there, I'm going to have to pay $100 for my family to get food. If I want to have 5 beers, it's going to cost me $100,
Yeah.
I think that's another area where just baseball, there's no reason why it should cost me $11 for a damn beer. Or there's even a game I went to last season where I wasn't drinking at the time. I was just going, I was going to be sober. I got a Coca-Cola and a bag of peanuts, and it was $13.
Mm-hmm.
I can go to the grocery store and get a Dr. Pepper or a Coke and a bag of peanuts for $3. Like,
But God forbid you try to bring that into the stadium.
yeah, exactly. There's a big disconnect there, like where you can't black out games and beg people to come to games, and then also make it to where they've got to take out a bank loan to come to the game.
Absolutely. Like we went, I went to Braves Royals in September of last year, and it was me and my oldest son and his half brother and his stepmom and his dad. We all went together. We were taking up a whole row of seating right behind the first base dugout. So not the cheapest tickets, but of course it's Kansas City, so they're not that expensive either. But nobody had eaten before we got there because nobody had time. So then it's, okay, there's a Papa John's pizza stand right behind our seats. So let's just grab pizza. There's $100 right there before we even got drinks. Like that's crazy.
Yeah. And it's, I don't mean this as a shot at Papa John's, but it's not the greatest pizza that you're going to eat.
That's not.
There's no reason to pay $100 for Papa Dookie pizza.
Exactly. Like, when and it was either you can get Papa John's or you can get $10 nachos, or, if I'm going to pay $10 for nachos, they're going to be the brisket nachos from the local barbecue place that I like to go to, not the little plastic tray of stale chips and cheese that's probably been there for 6 months. Like, that's just not what I want to pay that
money. You can get at a gas station for $1.50.
Yeah.
Exactly. And, I keep looking, anytime these stadiums have dollar dog night and all of a sudden the fans come rushing to the game, how much does a pack of hot dogs cost?
Bro, yeah.
$1.
You're selling it for $1 and you're making money on it. But that's going to get fans in the door.
He said this. Arthur Blank, that owns the Falcons.
Yep.
He owns the Falcons and Atlanta United. He decided when they built the new stadium that he was going to do fan-friendly pricing. That's what he called it. So nachos are $2. A hot dog's $1. A hamburger's $2.50. A beer is $5. The first 3 years they've been open, they made 5 times what they made the last 3 years the Georgia Dome was open.
Yeah.
Because they had people that were coming in and didn't want to pay that, so they would just stuff themselves, and eat before they came into the game. But that way they didn't have to pay the prices. Now that they don't have to pay that, everyone's going to – I mean, it ain't shit to go buy a $2 hot dog, And
that's just it. And, they're selling hot dogs at $2 for a profit. They're selling dollar dog night, the once a month that they do it during the summer.
Dollar dog night, you're buying hot dogs for 13 cents a hot dog. Like.
Yep. And you know what? I'll go out and I'll buy, 5 or 6 or 7 hot dogs. And, the group that I'm with, it's all like, it's who can eat the most hot dogs that night. And you know what? We're actually going to be paying more money than we usually would for one $7 hot dog.
On hot dogs if they're $1. Like I wouldn't. I'm not a hot dog person. I know that's like a baseball thing, but I'm not a hot dog person. So. But, if you gave me $2 nachos, yes, I'll eat them all day. And Inky says, how dare you slander nacho cheese? I love you. I'm not slandering nacho cheese. I love nachos, but I don't want to pay $10 for them. Like, that's not okay.
We're not slandering nacho cheese. We're slandering $11 nacho cheese.
Exactly. So one of the other things that I know you gave me a whole huge list of stuff you guys are trying to do, and I want to talk about all of it. So one of the other things that you had said, major issues that are impacting fans is teams not spending. Like, how are you guys, what is your plan to go about like driving that home to the owners? Because we all know, we're all well aware by now that the owners they're filling those pockets.
And they don't give a fuck really what we think either. So
how would you present that to them as you're hurting the fans with this? Because I agree with you. Absolutely. Maybe you can show me like a way that I could express that more eloquently other than you guys are being some cheap sons of bitches. Like,
yeah, definitely. So we're kind of looking at almost like a 2-pronged approach to kind of go after owners to really see if we can get them into spending. So once we're able to kind of build more of our base, one of our plans is to have 30 chapter organizations, one to represent each local team, to then become a collective voice for the very localized community. So the team that I'm going to pick on is Pittsburgh. Most of my life, Pittsburgh's not been in the postseason. And besides, the run that they had with McCutchen, really not a perennial playoff team. But we want to show them that, like, hey, you can spend money And you know what? We're actually going to put more fans in the seats that you're actually going to be making more money in the long run than you were going to make in the short term of just not paying your players. So our goal would be to really organize kind of at the local level, get fans talking, get fans passionate, to kind of go, make it like a two-way kind of negotiation with them where it's, hey, if you guys are giving a good product at reasonable prices, we'll make sure that your stadium's filled. We'll make sure that, we're going to reach out to partner organizations, that we're getting tickets into the hands of young baseball fans or potential baseball fans. And we're going to see it as, would you rather have, the guy that occasionally will come to a game, or do you want, the young kid that's watching every single night because we got him into baseball at an early age?
So I like what you're saying, because you're really spearheading it. You're coming at baseball in the same mentality that baseball comes. You're trying to unionize, basically. I mean, you're not, because you're not union employees, but you're organizing the same way a union would organize.
Yeah, definitely, in a way.
I think that's brilliant with you having chapters, you having chapter presidents that, they worry about their team's needs, and they can come to you or come to a board. I'm assuming you have a board.
Yep.
And they can come to that board and be like, hey, this is our needs. These are our wants. And then your board can go, hopefully, if y'all get this going the way you want to, can go to Major League Baseball and the Major League Baseball Players Association and be like, hey, guys, these are my fans' wants and needs. These are our wants and needs. And that'd be awesome to have a seat at the table as a fan. It'd be brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. I do got to shout out the one guy in the chat that kind of got me into Braves Twitter, G-Man Braves fan, George. So kind of thank you for setting this up for me. And Braves Twitter's been just absolutely amazing. I love seeing passionate baseball fans.
We are some very passionate people, for sure.
We're ridiculous. So.
I do want to, real quick, G-Man, I know we're facing each other in our fantasy league this week, and I'm beating you right now.
Oh!
So I just want to shout you out there. You can still do this. I don't think he had any players that weren't off today, but he has been the closest opponent I have had yet. So thank you for presenting a challenge for me this week.
And I absolutely love it. And that's, kind of one thing that we're also looking to try and create with the organization is just a community of baseball fans that are really, a cross team that really just wants to talk about baseball. So we did our best in baseball poll. We're currently doing like a best stadium feature poll or bracket.
Hey, who won that best in baseball poll, by the way?
And that's exactly what I love. Freddie Freeman beat Yon Moncada in the finals of our best.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm an Atlanta Braves fan. You know this. I'm a diehard. I voted for Mike Trout in every single phase of that I could.
I was right there. Like,
the best player in baseball.
I was looking at it objectively. We have some very zealous Braves fans that, you see the Braves Twitter is undefeated meme everywhere, and if you post a Twitter poll, they're coming for you. Braves Twitter is coming. But I could not, in good conscience, I couldn't vote against Mike Trout in any of that.
No.
And there were even a few.
Mike Trout over Acuna. I'm not voting Mike Trout over Freddie Freeman. I'm just sorry. I'm not going to do it. All my Braves Twitter peeps, y'all can roast me if you want to. I don't give a shit. Mike Trout's the best player in the last 40 years.
There was a round where I think George Springer was in that poll, wasn't he?
Yep. Yeah.
I voted for George Springer in one round, and somebody was like, I can't remember who it was that he was facing.
It might have been Judge. That was his big matchup.
Okay, yeah. Somebody was like, how can you pick George Springer over Aaron Judge? And I was like, well, I don't like Aaron Judge, but I'm a big George Springer fan.
That was awesome for y'all. That was a really good idea, though, because that got a lot of people talking about your account. That's the first time I saw y'all's account.
Yeah.
Was through that, so.
Yeah, that was kind of our big kind of like, hey, this is who we are. But what I love about it is Freddie Freeman the best player in baseball? Probably not. Now, when he wins the MVP award this year, I like to say that our organization helped get him there. Probably not going to happen. But, we had so many people that just commented saying hey, this was a lot of fun. Or I never thought about debating these two players before.
Well, that's what's funny. Nobody realized that the White Sox have fans, much less a shit ton of fans on Twitter.
Yep. White Sox Twitter is passionate.
They came out of nowhere.
I think it came down to, there was some poll that it came down to White Sox Twitter and Braves Twitter. And
that was like MLB's
oh, that was the best fan base, wasn't it? Braves Twitter won, but it came down to the White Sox and the Braves. And I remember I said the same thing. I was like, there's White Sox fans on Twitter? What? Where are they? I want to meet them. I want to be friends with them. I found a Brewers fan on one of Jared Carabas's posts, and now I interact with him all the time, and he's absolutely delightful. Like, I love what you guys are doing. I know you said you had people that were making like WWE style hype videos for some of these polls.
Hey, I got to shout out Josh Kent real quick.
Yeah.
What up, Josh?
Yeah, that's my boy. He just commented on here. I had to shout him out.
So so our hype videos came from our friends Before the Pitch. That was who we who hosted our trivia the other night. But that was so much fun that it was like, let's my goal with this organization is this isn't the Stephen Leonardi organization. This isn't, George is on my board. This isn't George's organization. This is everybody's organization. As long as you're a baseball fan, you've got a spot with us.
Yeah, so it's organic. It's really
So it's
us.
Yeah.
I love that it's not put together by somebody that has no interest in growing the game or nobody wants the game to grow more than fans.
Yep.
I grew up watching baseball. My younger kids watch baseball religiously. I have videos and pictures of my son just glued,
my son
dropping.
My daughter right now watches baseball with me, like glued to the TV watching.
That's we baseball fans want to see that happening, and it feels like the players want it to grow, but they also of course they're looking out for themselves, and of course we want them to look out for themselves, but then it feels like the owners and MLB themselves hate baseball. I've never felt more like the people that were running the sport hated it more than I do when I look at what's going on in the MLB. And so to have a group that is forming to help the fans, I think that's just awesome to me.
Yeah, I love it. As soon as Sarah told me that, I didn't really know anything about you at first. Sarah was like, "Hey, this is who we're interviewing in 2 weeks. Check them out." And I checked you out, and I was like, "Dude, this is fucking awesome." It's crazy because baseball is the only sport that would need something like this.
Mm-hmm.
The NBA gives a fuck about their fans. The NFL gives a shit about their fans. Major League Baseball is the only sport that they count on that revenue from fans, but don't give a damn about what the fans want. It's amazing.
Oh, absolutely. And that's, we just kind of keep coming back. It's like, hey, you know what? At the end of the day, there's a lot that Major League Baseball does that we really don't like, and we believe that needs to be changed. But we want to work with them. Let's grow this game. Let's get it back into the inner cities. Let's get, I know soccer is taken over as the easy sport to play. Let's change that. Let's get baseball fields packed with kids every summer again. Let's drive up engagement. Let's, find new fans, get them into the game, and connect them with everybody that's already in the community.
I couldn't agree with you more. I've for years, I've wanted to start. It's been a dream of mine to start a league called Jackie's League. It's what I've been wanting to do forever. It's called Jackie's League. And it'd be a travel baseball league for kids that can't afford to play travel ball. So my little brother, he just graduated high school. The last 2 years is $10,000 a year for him to play travel ball. Travel ball to a level to where he could get looked at by college and, pro scouts. And there's how many kids are we just overlooking that are going to play basketball or football because they can't afford to play baseball?
Absolutely.
I wanted to start a league called Jackie's League, obviously named after Jackie Robinson, and it'd be for inner city kids and kids from low income households to where they can play travel ball. And then you could see these kids, because I'm going to tell you right now, baseball is missing out on hundreds of kids, thousands of kids a year that could play Major League Baseball.
Absolutely.
But, their family ain't got any money, so they can't play travel ball, so nobody ever sees them play ball.
Well, and especially in areas like where I live, I'm in a very rural area, and we do have travel ball teams here that even my daughter hasn't had access to until people got to see her play.
Yeah.
And then it's even, it's, hey, we want her to try out for the team. But then at the same time, it's like, well, she can try out for the team, but when every tournament we play is 5 or 6 hours away because of where we live.
Yeah.
Logistically, there's nothing here.
It really is just, It's bullshit. Like they make it. Not only do they Major League Baseball make it to where people don't want to watch it, they make it all the way down, just boil it down to the simplest level to where people don't even want to fucking play it because they can't.
Absolutely. And that's, one of our goals to change that is, let's find these great organizations. Like, let's partner with them. Let's just continue to build this baseball community. A little bit down the line, we are planning on creating our own website, kind of just trying to build the game as much as we can. But like things that we want to do is, we want to find, podcasts that are talking about baseball. Like, let's highlight them. Again, like as we're getting more global, that you might not necessarily know that, the Easy Out podcast is, representing the Braves, representing a little bit more about baseball. So that could be something that we feature and target to Braves fans so that when the Brave fan living in Seattle doesn't necessarily know, hey, all of this community is out there, that we can connect them and we can get them to the people that share similar interests and similar passions, and that we can just do what we all love to do. And that's just talk baseball.
Absolutely. Like, that was, when I started this podcast, it was really, of course I'm a Braves fan first and foremost, but I am also like a baseball fan. Like I will watch any game that's on. I don't care if it's a team that I hate. I will sit down and watch it. If that's what's on, that's what I'm watching. And, I've told several people, I'm like, if you're trying to get a hold of me between February and October, you might as well forget it. I don't want to go out. I don't want to go out. I don't want to go hang out at your house unless you're going to put the game on for me. If you're going to put the game on, we're good. If you're not, I'm going to stay home because I can watch 7 games at once.
Yep.
So people already know that 10 months out of the year, you might as well forget it. I'm completely unavailable. And so for me, it was really, let's start this and let's just bring in people from all different fan bases. Of course, Cape and I are both Braves fans. Megan,
that's why I'm so willing to come in with you, Sarah, because I never wanted to do a Braves podcast. I'm a Braves fan. I'm a Braves diehard. I will be to the day I die. But I'm a baseball fan. I like talking about baseball. So that's why I was so stoked and willing when you asked me if I'd come on and co-host this with you. I was like, hell yeah. Me and a chick, it's me and you. Let's talk about baseball. Let's do this. It's awesome.
And Megan that does the show with us also, she's a Dodgers fan. You can see behind me, I have George Springer as my green screen tonight. Like it changes every week. I'll have somebody different.
Hey, he cheated at baseball, right?
It's okay. I don't care. I don't care. His performance this year is showing it, which is also something we're going to get to that here in a little bit. It's on the list to talk about. Let's see. Reese Tate says, is there a point where fans could black out a game and refuse to buy tickets and attend?
I like that.
That's,
basically fans go on strike.
Yeah. Ideally we wouldn't get to that spot where we have to take a drastic step.
And, I don't think that'll ever happen because I don't think there's enough baseball fans that are serious enough about baseball. Such a what are you doing today? You want to go to the game? Like just a social event more than it is like a diehard event, if that makes sense.
Definitely. But, we just want to make sure that, whatever your local team is or whatever team, that you support, like you can find that fan base and, we can help you guys. We can all stand together and tell Major League Baseball, like, hey, you know what? This isn't working. Like, let's make this change.
Yeah. And I think, for me, like this year, not being able to go to the games is so hard because as a kid growing up, every year we were in Denver for the Braves Rockies series. It was 3 days, every time they were there, we were there. Yep. And, going to Kansas City for games because that's, Kansas City, I lived in Chicago for a while. I was 5 minutes from Wrigley, but I was there the year the White Sox won the World Series. So I didn't mind getting on the train and going to the south side of town because it was so exciting down there. It's just always been something where even if I had to travel, I was going to the game. So I think it would be great if fans had a way to go on strike in some way, shape, or form. But I know personally, like for the people that are diehard baseball fans, it would be so hard to have access to a stadium and you're trying to stand in unity with everybody and say, we're tired of this. But at the same time, you're like, but I want to be in there.
Well, but with diehards though, like me and you and like anybody that, we have a baseball podcast. We're obviously diehards. Like I think anybody like that, if it came down to me standing outside the stadium in solidarity with other people to get what we wanted, I would do that.
Yeah, I think I could give up like a game to do it. Like if it were an organized thing where you could get everybody to say, don't, kind of like you see on Facebook going around.
I'm gonna stand out here. I'm gonna tell you what I want, just like your players are allowed to do.
Yeah,
Why
I think
are the players allowed to hold out and strike and delay a baseball season, but the fans aren't.
you see like, the whole don't buy gas or don't go shopping on such and such day.
That shit never fucking works.
It never works, but this is a small scale enough, it's a large scale thing, but it's a small scale enough thing that you could maybe get baseball fans to unite in that we're not going to a game on this day.
Well, and some of the other things
with your organization that you have started, I would hope that it would never get to that point. I would hope that you've got the representation that you need and can get the representation from other fan bases to where you can get at the table and talk without something dumb like that having to happen.
Exactly. And, one of the ways that we kind of thought about it would be, what if every fan went to, a Pittsburgh Pirates game? I'm just going to keep picking on them. And just, blatantly just
keep picking on them, but PNC Park's like the most beautiful.
And they deserve a good team in that park.
They deserve people to be
Absolutely.
there because it is beautiful.
I forget what's their record right now. They're like 4-12.
Not good.
Like
it's bad.
So like for me, it's just it's so frustrating to see these like great baseball cathedrals that are empty because there's just poor product on the field. But like what we would love to do is all right, you know what? Let's go to the Pirates game, but let's wear white. We're not going to wear Pirates gear. We're gonna we're gonna keep the black and yellow, the Jolly Roger at home. We're all gonna go in white. So when they show the crowd,
yeah. I like that.
We're not happy.
I like that better than a strike.
Yep.
Because there's no way you can. A strike outside the stadium, the news could just straight up be like, "Fuck that! I'm not showing that." You can't not show a shit ton of people wearing the same thing.
But white, yeah.
Yeah, and again, like our goal is to help Major League Baseball grow the game. So we're gonna take steps to work with them, and these would be a little bit more last resort. But we got to do what's in the best interest of fans all across baseball.
I like it. I think what you're doing is awesome.
And I did too. As soon as Sarah told me that we were interviewing you, and like she sent me the long text that you sent her, and I read it. I'm like, dude, this is awesome. Like, where the hell has this been the last 40 years?
Yeah, the little bit of a ramble, but thank you.
No, it was.
I think Pete Rose would be in the Hall of Fame right now.
Well, let's talk about that because that conversation
I want to have that conversation with you.
That conversation was something that got sparked. It was another thing that, like Barry Bonds, guys like that. Do you think they should be in the Hall of Fame?
Yes, I think Barry Bonds should be a unanimous Hall of Famer.
So. Yeah, so definitely, it's a very interesting debate. I'm kind of at the point where it's, hey, you know what? There's so much around it that we do and don't know. At some point, this is the story of baseball. And we can't just pretend that no player took steroids in the 90s and the early 2000s. And continuing to today, we still see issues.
Absolutely.
I agree with you. You can ask Sarah. I've said on this show multiple times that I am pro steroids in baseball. I think steroids saved baseball. I think steroids brought a lot of attention back to the game when there was nobody paying attention to baseball
after the strikes. Yeah,
I think like your Barry Bonds, like those guys, like they deserve a spot in the Hall of Fame because they tell a story in baseball.
It's literally the chapter. You go back to the 98 race between McGuire and Sosa. Yeah. And like what's so scary for me is, we had the strike in 94, it went into 95. And a lot of fans.
Who won the World Series that year?
Yeah, I know you guys did. I can name some players on that team. But so it took a little while for the sport to get brought back, and lack of a better term, steroid was the injection that the sport needed.
Yeah, I mean, it really was. I mean, that whole race between McGuire and Sosa. Yep. It's supposed to be McGuire and Griffey, but Griffey didn't. Sosa comes out of nowhere. You could not look at a newspaper. You could not look at Sports Illustrated and one of the two of them or both of them on the cover of it.
Yeah.
And then as soon as that's over, you transition into Roger Clemens throwing 98 miles an hour for 8 innings straight.
Well, I think you have to look at
Bonds just hitting dingers, like.
I think you have to look at the Hall of Fame. Too many people are looking at the Hall of Fame as like a purist thing, and that's your older writers that are voting people in. It's more of a purist thing to them and like a morality type thing. But the Hall of Fame is meant to be a museum that tells the story of baseball.
I could agree more.
And you have to put these people in there and tell that story.
Well, and one of the things that I get so frustrated with like Major League Baseball's Hall of Fame is, who's not voting for Derek Jeter? Now I know I'm a Yankee fan, and we can say who's not voting for Cal Ripken Jr.
Well, I mean, Derek Jeter really wasn't that good, but
he's got the rings to get him there. But Chipper Jones being another one. Who are the guys?
Here's Del Murphy.
Dale Murphy.
How the fuck is Del Murphy not in or Andrew Jones? Like Andrew Jones is one of the best center fielders that's ever played baseball.
And he was both a Brave and a Yankee.
Yeah. Hey, he was. He also played for like 6 other teams, but
real quick, I'm going to touch on some of the comments before they get past us, and then we will continue this. Kent Williams says a peaceful protest, standing outside singing "Sweet Caroline." I like that idea.
That would only do that in Boston.
Reese says signs and walkouts have worked for English Premier League matches. Reese, you watching a lot of soccer? Like,
yeah, that's my boy. That's my real life boy.
Reese is a big soccer guy.
Yeah, well, they call it football. Apparently.
We can talk about that. I watch soccer too. I got you, Reese.
You want to see Reese get really pissed? Reese is a Chelsea fan. Watch how pissed he gets in about 5 seconds.
Let's see. He also says peaceful protest for the win. Kent Williams says just add a PED wing and move on. You know what? I would be fine if they put them, even if they put them in there with an asterisk to it and say these people were doing this at the time.
So you got what? You have. Yeah, see, I told you Reese was got mad about me. He's an Arsenal fan. But yeah, do a PED wing. You put, but who's in there? A-Rod, Barry Bonds,
Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa. Well,
I don't think Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa are Hall of Fame players.
Sosa might have gotten there because I think he had over 600 homers.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
Clemens
definitely.
See, I think you almost have to put
what about Canseco?
I think you almost have to do a wing that covers I
don't think there's enough players for you to add a PED wing.
Yeah.
I think the players that played in that era that are deserving. I mean, Barry Bonds set the home run record, and yeah, he did steroids. Barry Bonds also stole 500 fucking bases.
Mm.
Like, that's not easy to do.
He was a Hall of Famer pre-steroids.
No, and the thing, so a lot of people that watch baseball now don't understand that if you were to go back and watch Barry Bonds pre-steroids, Barry Bonds had the cleanest baseball swing of all time.
His swing was beautiful. Barry Bonds and Ken Griffey are some of the most beautiful swings.
Half a second later than anyone else would, because he'd keep his hands inside, could turn on a ball better than anybody that's ever swung a bat could. Yeah. The only person that's ever swung a bat better than Barry Bonds might be Ted Williams.
Yeah.
Let's see. George says, is the Hall of Fame for sports writers or for the fans? It's supposed to be for the fans, but I would venture to say that the way that it's done, it's more for the writers.
It's a baseball writers jerk off session. It's really what it is. And I hate to be vulgar like that, but it's what it is. Like, they get to decide who goes in or who doesn't, and that's bullshit. Like, half of them aren't even baseball fans, I feel
like. What do I have to do to get that credential so that I can vote? Like,
I think we need about 1 million more followers on our podcast account to get a Hall of Fame.
Everybody just hit the follow button so that we can get the right.
Like and share the podcast account.
I don't care if you follow.
I'm telling you right now, if I get a vote, I'm voting Del Murphy and Andrew Jones immediately.
Well, one thing that I would do.
I'm also going to start a petition for Pete Rose.
One of the things that I would do too is hey, you know what? So many of these controversial figures, let's have the players and the managers and the baseball personnel, let's have them vote. Let's take it out of the sports writers that are upset that so-and-so didn't give them an interview after a bad game.
Griffey did not get a unanimous vote because he wore his hat backwards in a home run derby. That is fucking bullshit.
Yeah, get out of here.
You're mad because he wore his hat backwards? Bro, go fucking write on your typewriter about the Civil War or something. Quit baseball. Like, get the fuck out of here.
See,
Well-
I feel like as these older guys kind of phase out of this, the voting
That was a very nice way of
strategy,
dying.
It was.
retiring,
They're gonna write about baseball until they die.
whatever happens, they get shamed off of Twitter and everywhere else. I don't, whatever ends up happening to them. I feel like as they phase out, then the voting style changes drastically. But as long as they're in there, I feel like it's going to be an uphill battle to get these people who deserve it, steroids or not, deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. People
There's a comment from Reese right now that I love because it's true.
Let's see. I had a whole string of comments just pop up.
Yeah, the one Reese said baseball writers revel in being the one that doesn't vote for a player. That's
Absolutely.
true. They
Absolutely.
take pride in being like, oh, I didn't vote for him.
There's no reason for that. There's absolutely no reason for that. If you know they have your personal feelings aside, if you know they have that talent, you should be voting for them, whether you like them or not. Let's see. George says, interesting fact about the 94 strike. It probably kept the Braves division title streak intact.
Yeah, it kept that Braves World Series streak intact too.
That's a very good point. It probably had a big impact on that.
And the Braves would have won the division regardless of a strike. The Braves won more after that. So.
Matt says steroids or not, September 8th, 1998 will always be toward the top of my all-time sports memories. Yep. Like, who doesn't remember that like that, though? I mean, when Long Gone Summer came out, I called my 17-year-old was coming down to spend the week with me. And I made him sit down and watch it. And he was like, Mom, this is like 2 hours long. And I was like, sit down, shut up, get some popcorn.
When it came out, I called my dad and I was like, Dad, I'm coming over. We're going to watch this. He's like, what is it? It's like, it's Long Gone Summer. It's about Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire. And he goes, oh, please come over. Because when I was a kid, I watched that with my dad. So like, it was awesome as a 30-year-old to go back with my dad and be like, let's sit down and watch this together. Like,
well, and that's sorry.
That was a moment like I made him sit down and watch it with me. And he's not really that into baseball. Like, he'll watch it. Yeah. He's not into it like my younger kids are. But they don't, and I made them watch it too. And they don't really understand it yet. But they were watching these balls flying off the bat. And every time you would see Mark McGwire take a swing, my 4-year-old's like, it's gone. It's gone. He's getting so excited about it. But my teenager, I was sitting there watching it with him, and he was like, when did all of this happen? And I was like, well,
what are you talking about? I made Blakely watch it with me, and Blakely was like 5 months old at the time.
I was like, it happened like 5 years before you were born. And he was like, so is this why baseball was boring when I was a little kid? Which he was born in 2003. I get that. Like, I would agree to an extent that baseball was boring there for a little while after
baseball was boring. Yeah, like, the whole, and anybody, you can come at me if you want to. Pitchers only going 5 innings in the shift has killed baseball. It's made it boring as shit.
I hate the shift.
I mean, think about it. When we were kids or when we were younger, one of the coolest things ever was just a dude hitting a rope right at the pitcher, right over the second base bag, right up center field for a single or running in a run. Like, that shit does not happen now because of the shift is horrible. It has killed baseball. In my opinion.
Well, for me, like, I kind of keep looking at it and think like, God, like, if I'm being paid literally millions of dollars, I just have to bunt that way, and I'm on second.
Yeah. That's what the thing with Freddie Freeman. They asked him when Freddie was in the home run derby. They asked him about hitting home runs. He's like, I haven't hit a home run in batting practice in 5 years. And they're like, why? He goes, all I practice is hitting line drives down the third base line because I just practice hitting against the shift, which is, I think it's bullshit. Like, play your bag, like play your position. Well, I mean, the outfield, if you got a power hitter, you move out. If you got a guy that hits ground balls, move in. That's the only shift you need. Like,
well, I think it's crazy when you've got, like, I remember Rover in like 9 and 10-year-old softball, and then I'm watching a game the other day, and it's like over in Rover, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, you're making that a thing again? Why are we doing this? Like, what are your thoughts on the shift? Steven.
Yeah, so for me, I'm fine with the shift. Like, I get it. For me, it just comes back to the players. Like, seriously, like, learn how to hit the other way. I mean, as a Yankee fan, we're a little spoiled with DJ LeMahieu. Yesterday, he had 4 hits. All of them went to the right. He's a lefty.
Yeah, he's not going to be a Yankee after this season anyways. So.
It's a very real shot he won't be. But, like, for me, I kind of keep looking at these kids thinking, like, growing up, every Major League Baseball player was the best kid in their town. He was the best kid on their little league team, on their travel ball. And they could just get away with just mashing these, bad pitches from guys like me that, like they're just going to crush it to, right where they now have the shift, that they actually got a little lazy. They never had to learn, you have a pitch on the outside of the plate, I'm just going to poke that to right field. Yeah. They never had to learn that skill. And now we're seeing it where I'm going to put everybody on the left side, and you know what? Or everybody on the right side, and you can't even bunt up the third base line. Like, I remember there was a game way back when Cano was still on the Yankees. He bunted for a double. You mean to tell me if you're going to put everybody on that side and I can bunt and end up on second base every time, that's all I'm going to do.
I'm going to do it, yeah.
And then eventually you're going to stick somebody right at the third base bag, and now I've got a nice hole right where I want to hit. Make them respect you.
I can see that.
I like that.
I do like that.
I still fuck the shift over here, but
see, that's why I like to have these conversations.
So make them respect you.
Yeah, definitely.
That's why I like to have these conversations with people, because it's always fun to, you don't ever think about the fact that I didn't have to learn how to hit it. I didn't have to. I was a power hitter. I got up there and I hit home runs. That was my whole job. Like, that was what I did. That's what I did. That's what I was there to do. Like, they took me to the 12 and under world softball tournament where we played a team in Japan because I could hit the ball. Like, I didn't have to learn how to place the ball here or there or anything else. And I wish I would have. Like, I wish I would have known how to do that stuff.
See, and for me, I was the opposite. I was the short, fast kid. I would just go up, bunt, and then steal second and steal third. Like, I was that annoying guy.
Yeah,
for me, like, I had to learn how to hit it the opposite way, because if I didn't, the ball's not going very far.
That's funny. I was a medium size. I was not very fast, but I was a switch hitting catcher. So
okay.
Well, see, I am 5 feet tall, and I've been 5 feet tall since I was 9 years old. So at that age group, I was huge. And then everybody caught up to me like 13, 14 years old, and it didn't matter anymore. But, when I was a little kid, I was the biggest one on the team, but I was also the catcher, and I didn't have to, I was fast, but I didn't have to be, because I just hit the ball really far.
See, my favorite, if you guys remember back to the 99 World Series, Chuck Knobloch, that was my guy.
Fuck the 1999 World Series. If you want to know why, I'll tell you why.
But that was me. Number 11 has been my number ever since. I was small. I would bunt and just start running around. I used to be able, like, in Little League, when the bases were like so ridiculously close that you had to take like 3 steps. I knew if I hit a ground ball to the right of the shortstop and he had to get it on his backhand, by the time he threw the ball to first, not only would I be safe, but I would run through the bag and then turn and start going to second, because I knew I could outrun the second baseman to get there. Like, I was that annoying kid.
Bring up the 99 World Series. So the only World Series game I've ever gone to in person was Game 2 of the 99 World Series at Turner Field, and y'all beat us 7-2.
Yeah.
So it's a sore subject for me. I don't like talking about it.
Okay,
all right, I'll pull back.
I've been to a World Series game, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Since Kate doesn't like talking about it, I'll come hit the comments again. Like, we're picking up in the comments now, so thank you guys for that. Inky says, if John Heyman hasn't been shamed off Twitter yet, what will it take? Bro, if you figure that out, let me know. I am so tired.
Yeah, I'll sign the petition to get him off Twitter.
And then George says the Expos were up like 9 games when the strike occurred, and then he corrected himself in the next one and said 6 games. So he may be right on that.
Yeah, and then they lost their team and became the Washington Nationals.
Kent says, do you think we will ever see a race like that again, Sosa versus McGuire?
I do. I think if Alonso comes back to form, I think you could see a Judge Alonso race.
Well, and I think, the ball is juiced this year. Obviously, the balls are flying.
The last 2 years.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it seems like they've done even more this year. Like the ball's just flying out of the park. Like the scores we're seeing in these games, 17-8. What the fuck?
Who the fuck just hit that home run? Hold on.
What'd you see?
Oh, that was Mookie Betts. Mookie went deep twice tonight?
Jeez.
Oh, yeah, Mookie went deep twice tonight.
That's a scary team.
That finger, the Dodgers are.
The first one was fuck. No, he didn't.
What?
Mookie went deep 3 times tonight.
Oh.
Jeez.
Okay.
Yeah, Mookie
Boston has got to feel so stupid.
I do got to give a little shout out to one of the guys on my board, Alex Naveja, and Sideline Sports Podcast. He's the biggest Dodgers fan I know, and he absolutely is like obsessed with Mookie Betts. So like I can't imagine just how wild he's going right now.
Oh, he's probably
out. I'll call Jesse right now. You want me to call Jesse live?
No, I don't want to hear.
Be like, what's up, bro?
I love Jesse, but I don't want to hear from him tonight.
I kind of want to. I kind of want to see what he has to say.
Oh, he's gonna talk. He's gonna have a lot to say, I'm sure. Let's see. George says that was with 48 games to play. George may have a point on that, on the strike preserving the streak. Reese Tate says someone's dog is pissed. That was my dog. I shut her out where she couldn't get into the office, and she's very angry at me. And somehow she got the door open anyway. So that was my dog. I apologize. Reese also says, hi, my name's Sarah, and I hit dingers. That was my whole thing when I was like 9 or 10. That was all I did. We didn't call them dingers back then, but you know.
I think in my entire career, I hit 10 home runs, and none of them left the infield. I just kept running.
You know what? I had a couple of them like that, where the ball, if the ball made it to the fence, you weren't catching me. Like I was gonna make it all the way around, and it was great. So, Steven, do you have anything else for us as far as what you guys are hoping to accomplish? Like, what's the number one thing you want to see change in the game?
So I think the number one thing that I want to see is, so I'm going to cheat. I'm going to pick 2. It's just getting the game more accessible to fans. So getting rid of blackouts, getting fans being able to watch their favorite announcers wherever they are, wherever the game's being played. And then it's making the game day experience cheaper, getting, ticket prices that are affordable for a family of 4, getting food options lowered, getting merchandise that's going to be easier to get. Like, I would love if Major League Baseball could partner with more, like local community type of organizations and charities to get those young fans in the game. Like, how often do we watch a 1:00 game on a Thursday and it's empty? Not obviously this year, but in a normal year. Yeah. Let's get those guys, let's get these tickets to these young fans that can sit there, watch the game. And you know what? Let's just get the whole baseball community together and let's just keep talking about baseball.
Absolutely. I think it's a conversation that needs to happen more often. I have a lot of people that were, baseball fans back when, or they played baseball and then they got away from it. And, I work with them and they have to hear me talk about baseball all the time now. And they're like, you're kind of getting me back into it. And I'm like, good, let's go. Come on.
Hey, it is official. Mookie Betts did hit 3 home runs tonight.
Jeez.
Good grief.
Yeah.
Reese says, Steven, in the park home runs are the real deal.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. We've had a few this year, too. It's been awesome.
Yeah, that's been crazy. Like, it's just been, this has been
who hit the one? I can't remember what teams it was.
The Diamondbacks. There was
the one that hit out of the corner and just fucking took off the other direction.
Yeah. I think was it Cole Calhoun?
Yeah, it was. Just
yeah.
And then Yelich hit one because the old boy fucking fell in the net and got stuck.
He keeps doing
that one. We were on the air last week.
Yeah. And Eloy Jimenez is just struggling in left field for the White Sox. And I feel bad for him.
Eloy's the one that got fucking cradled up in the net and couldn't get back out of it. And Yelich hit the in the ball.
Well, Steven, I think what you're doing is awesome. And if there's anything we can do in the future to help you like spread word about any, campaigns you guys have going, anything else, like when you're running Twitter polls, we'll definitely be retweeting you guys. We want to bring as many different fan bases as possible into this, into our podcast. We want to talk with everybody from different fan bases.
Whoa,
Love having you
I'm
here.
not trying to interrupt you.
What?
That is the 6th time Mookie Betts has hit 3 home runs in a game.
Jeez, that's absurd.
He tied Johnny Mize and Sammy Sosa for the most in Major League Baseball history.
Red Sox fans are probably crying right
And he's
now.
what, like 26, 27?
Why are they crying? He hit 5 of them with them.
I know, but they don't have him
They're not
anymore.
gonna hit
and it
anymore
just
with
keeps
them.
happening.
They're a fucking poverty franchise that couldn't afford him.
The Red Sox make me sad this year. I like the Red Sox, and they're making me very sad this year.
I do too. I've been to Fenway. I've been to Fenway more than I've been to Yankee.
I think same.
I've been to Yankee Stadium once. I've been to Fenway like 11 times.
My brother used to live up in Boston, so anytime that we would
I
go
worked,
up,
I worked in Boston 2 years ago. I worked in Boston for like 2 months, and it was in June and July. And we had Saturday and Sunday off, so I just went to Fenway every fucking day I had off. So
Inky says Mookie Betts loves hitting. Reese says I called the Yelich last week.
nobody asked you, restate. I can say that. That's my buddy.
Okay, so we'll wrap up the part where we're grilling you about stuff. We've kind of gotten away from that anyway. We've just been talking baseball here.
Yeah, no, you're super easy to talk baseball to.
Absolutely.
It's always nice to have someone on that just.
This has been awesome. So I will give you the option. We're going to talk about some things that have happened this week in baseball. If you need to go, you are more than welcome. If you would like to stay and keep talking about this stuff with us, we would love to have you.
Definitely. I do unfortunately have to run. We have another Yankees versus Mets trivia from before the pitch I got to jump to. Apparently, some of the Mets fans are all, like, issuing a challenge to Braves Twitter. So I'm very curious to see what that ends up being.
Hey, when you get over there, tell them, say I'm ready for it.
Okay. I absolutely love
tell
it.
them we're over here waiting. They can come on live and we can do the trivia right here and we'll dual stream it.
Oh, I absolutely love it. I'm sure they would too. And I do got to just say, make sure you guys follow us at MLBFA01, at MLB_FA. We're starting our Instagram page tomorrow. It goes live. And anything that you guys ever need from me, please feel free to reach out. It was absolutely a blast being here.
The Instagram was MLB_FA?
I believe so. Yep.
Okay.
Awesome. Steven, I really appreciate it, man. This has been awesome.
Of course. Anytime, guys.
Thank you so much for joining us. And definitely, as you guys have like stuff, you have stuff happening, get things moving, definitely let me know. Like I said, we'll help you out with anything we can. If you want to, you are welcome to come on here anytime and, make any announcements you guys have. Like, please feel free to just holler at us.
That would be awesome.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you. All right. So,
Sarah?
that was fun.
That was fun. I had a good time.
That was a good time. So let's talk about
we got anybody getting hit in the nuts this week?
Carlos Correa foul tipped a ball and it hit him in the ball.
Let's talk about the best Twitter post of all time.
Okay.
Correa getting hit in the nuts. The Oakland Athletics posted on Twitter. It said 2 balls, 1 strike. It was the best Twitter post of all time. That shit was so funny.
There was an umpire that got hit in the balls too.
Well, they deserve it. Oh, I shouldn't say that. We're going to have an umpire on soon. He's probably going to watch it. I'm not coming on. That guy's an asshole.
Whoops. It'll be okay. So Jose Altuve is very sad.
Did you see him get put in timeout last night?
Yeah.
You saw? Hey, he didn't get put in timeout, but he's sitting up in the stands. And someone tweeted it. It was like, Altuve got put in timeout. And he's sitting like this, just like a little kid in timeout.
He looks so sad up there.
I would be sad as fuck too if I didn't have my trash can anymore.
I mean, it happens. Let's talk about the Astros and their struggles. I put a lot of faith in the Astros because those guys do have some talent. They can hit the ball. And they're kind of making me look like an idiot right now. Because I've said a lot of times they didn't need the trash cans to win the World Series. Let's talk about the big 4 with the Astros. Altuve, Bregman, Springer, and Correa.
They suck, and they suck.
Combined, they have 12 home runs.
What's the combined? Do you have the combined bat average in front of you?
I don't have their combined batting average. I know last week somebody tweeted out it was like a 184.
That's what I was going to say. I thought it was like a 190 or 180.
It was like a 184, but that was Springer, Altuve, and Bregman.
Yeah.
We'll just go through their lines real quick. Altuve has 3 of those home runs. He's batting 187. His OBP is 265. Slugging is 333. His WOBA 266. WRC
Baseball.
plus 70.
Sorry, I read a comment and they said if someone says baseball, they'll pop another beer. So
Hey, that's Reese. He said, say baseball, and I'm pouring another glass of bourbon.
Yep.
Well, there you go, Reese. Have another. Now, Altuve has a negative 0.1 WAR.
Oof.
So they do better without him, is what that means for anybody that's not sure.
No, that doesn't just mean that. That means that they could replace him with an average level player and they would be better than he is.
That's
That's
not a
insane.
good thing.
No, he's a fucking AL MVP.
Yeah. This does not look
With a
good.
trash can.
This does not look good for the Astros, and it kind of bumps me out. Let's look at Bregman. He's got 4 of those home runs. He's got the most out of anybody. So he accounts for the third of the combined home runs. He's got a 250 average. What are you laughing at?
Iggy said he had a better WAR than Altuve. I read that and I could not laugh at it. So.
You might, Inky. You might. Bergman's got a 250 average. That's not horrible.
No, that's not bad.
That's all right. 365.
He's just been sticking the bat out there, though.
Yeah. He's got a 365 OBP, 500 slugging. His WOBA is 368. His WRC plus is 140, and his WAR is 0.4.
So his WRC is 140.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 40% better than league average. So
yeah, like Bregman's doing all right. Springer, and he missed a couple of games with a wrist issue. 3 home runs, a 188 average, 328 on base, 396 slugging. His WOBA is 318. His WRC plus 106. His WAR is 0.1.
So hold on. I have a question. What have these boys on all these teams been doing during the quarantine to have all these motherfucking wrist injuries?
I mean, how seriously are they taking?
I mean, is it video games or is it? You know what I'm saying?
The world may never know.
Are they playing Yahtzee with their? You know what I'm talking about?
They might be. You never know. Maybe
There's a bunch of wrist injuries going around the league right now.
Maybe they like to throw dice, Kate.
Yeah,
maybe that's
what we'll call it.
Maybe they like to throw dice.
I love to throw dice. They ain't never had no fucking wrist injury.
You never know. They got nothing to do. Correa. Now, Correa's without a doubt doing better than anybody else, even with all the drama he's been involved in. 2 home runs, 333 average, 421 on base, 485 slugging. His WOBA is 392, WRC plus 156, and his WAR is 0.8.
All right,
so,
well, that's awesome for him. He's having a hell of a season.
Yeah, he's having a great year.
I want the record to show that I will still bare knuckle box him. Yeah, we'll sponsor it.
We'd put that fight on. We'd definitely live stream that fight.
Yeah.
Steven's over in the comments. He says, thank you guys so much for having me on. Steven, we mean it when we say come back anytime. We really enjoyed that. That was awesome. We had a good time with you. We hope we get you back on here soon. So more Astros kind of weirdness. Zach Greinke.
Yes.
Kind of an odd guy.
It was awesome.
I loved it. Like Zach Greinke is kind of
like a
crazy.
Full-blown psycho.
He is.
Yeah.
It's like, is he just crazy or is he just way smarter than the rest of us and we haven't figured him out yet?
It was like, that was so nice of Zach Greinke to give the signs back to everybody.
Second sign, like calling him out loud. That's ballsy.
Sign after the first sign. Second sign after the first sign. I'm like, oh my God, this motherfucker is yelling his signs.
And there's a man on second.
I play catcher. You play catcher. You know that shit don't fucking happen. Like,
no. And there's a man on second. It's like, what the hell are you doing? If they know what that is,
And you know what's funny? He pitched to Jim. They still couldn't hit
Oh
him.
yeah. Yeah, he was great. Like
Yeah.
that, I will never. That's just unless he's like already gotten with his catcher and been like, "So I'm gonna say this."
Yeah, that's one thing I thought last night is, you know what? Maybe he had this plan, and maybe what he was saying was letting the catcher know to throw another sign or letting the catcher know what he's going to throw. That's only, but I don't think that's what it was. I really think just Greinke was calling out his signs. Like
I think Greinke's just a little crazy. Like nothing wrong with that, but I think he is just a little bit.
Well, I mean, Bauer started it, though. Trevor did it in spring training.
I love Trevor Bauer.
He didn't even do it second sign, first sign. Trevor Bauer literally went on the mound and said, "Hey, motherfucker, it's a fastball. Hey, motherfucker, throwing a slider." Like, he was straight up telling him what pitch he was going to throw.
I will always love Trevor Bauer. You can't make me
Yeah, if we
not
ever get Trevor Bauer on the show, I'm probably going to retire as soon as that episode.
be like, we're done. We're
I'm
that's
going
it.
to retire right there. Like,
Easy Out podcast is over right now. We just talked to Trevor Bauer. You guys have a good night and a good life. We're not coming back. So hot teams right now. The A's are unreal. If it weren't for Mike Trout and his 1,000,000 home runs a game, they'd be on
have we talked about Mike Trout yet tonight?
We haven't talked about Mike Trout yet.
Mike Trout had a baby a week and a half ago and has hit 9 home runs since then.
That's that dad strength.
That's what I'm saying.
Somebody asked him.
I had a baby in January, and I ain't hit 9 home runs in 10 years. So
Somebody asked him, "Is the dad strength thing real?" And he was like, "I guess."
No, I heard it. He was like, I don't know. I guess so.
Like Mike Trout has got to be. He probably has the least interesting personality out
You know
of
what's crazy about Mike Trout? If Mike Trout played for the Yankees, especially the Yankees, or
everybody would know who he is.
The Dodgers, or even the Cubs, but especially the Yankees, he would be the number one known athlete in the world.
Mm-hmm. And yet you have people like, if you are a casual baseball fan, you know who Bryce Harper is before you know who Mike Trout is. Yeah. You know who all these people are before you know who Mike Trout is, if you're just casually watching.
Mike Trout's the best baseball player in the last 30 years.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
Which kind of, that kind of ties back into what we were talking about. Like you've got to grow this game. That's somebody whose name deserves to be.
That's crazy. Major League Baseball, it seems like they don't want to grow the game.
I don't feel like they do. I don't feel like they like baseball. They don't want to do their jobs anymore, so they just want it to go away. Other hot teams, Padres.
Yep.
Tatis is on a freaking tear.
He's on fire.
That kid is so exciting to watch. Love Tatis. 4 straight games with a home run. Like, he's tearing it up. It's beautiful to watch.
He wears the right color pinstripes too.
I like those pinstripes. I'll tell you what pinstripes I like even more are the Rockies.
Yeah.
I love the purple.
Are you telling me that we're going to talk about Charlie Blackmon?
We're going to talk about Charlie Blackmon and Nolan Arenado.
Charlie Yickety Blackmon.
Charlie Blackmon is hitting 500.
Yeah, it's like, I think after tonight he was hitting 484 or something like that.
Let's look real quick. We'll double check. We'll get you the latest. I know the other day he was hitting right at 500. So let's look and see.
They're calling me a Mike Trout simp in the
Trout simp. I saw that.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. Yeah, he just had a baby, and my number one goal in life right now is to hook Blakely up with his baby.
See, you threw me off. Charlie Blackmon, 18 games, 79 plate appearances, 3 home runs, a 472 average.
So it's 472 now.
472 average. What that dude, and this is one of our COVID players. This guy tested positive for coronavirus. He came back and he's almost hitting 500. Reese Tate says Blackmon is a mountain of a man. Is he really a big guy?
Oh, he's huge. Yeah, so Reese, I've told you before on the podcast every time. Me and him, that's my real life buddy. I'll send you pictures if you want me to. I got the fucking hiccups. But no, me and Reese, that's the last live sporting event I've been to. We went to our Rockies spring training game, and Blackman's huge. In real life.
Really pay attention to like their height and everything, and then somebody will be like, he's a really big guy, and I go and look, and he's like 6'5", and I'm like, whoa.
Oh, look, I'll look it up right now. Hold on.
Like next to me, Charlie Blackman would look like a monster probably, but I'm only 5. Everybody looks big to me. That's the problem. I'm 5 feet tall. You can be 5'10" and look
I'm
like
5'11". Oh, he's 6'3".
6'3".
Yep, 6'3", 210.
That's not bad.
No, he weighs less than I do. That's because I'm fat, but
So we've got, I mean, he's just, Charlie Blackman's tearing it up. Like if the ball is coming at him, he's going to hit it.
oh yeah, don't throw a fastball his way right now.
I mean, another team that's hitting the ball pretty well is the Blue Jays. They're not winning, but they're hitting the ball.
Last night,
18 hits.
Yeah.
7 home runs. Still lost the game.
But that's the thing. The crazy thing was the Marlins were up like 8-1 at one point in that game. Next thing I know, it's tied 11-11.
Yeah, it was a crazy game, and the Blue Jays still managed to lose. Don't appreciate that. Need some more teams to take the Marlins down back to where they should be. Thanks, Blue Jays, for messing that one up for me. Let's talk about one of my favorite Braves. The great Nick Markakis hit his 500th career double.
Daddy. He's at 501 now.
He's hitting what? Oh, yeah, doubles, 501.
Last night.
That's right. He is very close to some pretty elite numbers as far as
if you look up any active batter hitting stat, he's like 3rd and 4th in all of them.
Absolutely.
Right, he's behind fucking Miguel Cabrera and I can't think of his name right now. It's gonna piss me off.
Because he's been in the league forever.
He played for the Angels. Used to play for the Cardinals. First base.
Pujols.
Yes, Albert Pujols and Miguel Cabrera are like the only 2 people in front of Markakis right now, as far as active players go.
I mean, it happens. Good on. I'm glad he's back this year.
Oh my God, I would hate to be behind Pujols and Cabrera, like 2 of our generation's best hitters. Like
you're not catching those numbers, but if you're in that company, that's something to say. Like, you know, it's great. Like Wendy's over here and she says cakes. I love Nick Markakis.
I do too. Nicky 2 bags, baby.
I think he's great. We're a big fan over here.
And everybody on Braves Twitter bitches about him. There is something to be said about that presence in a clubhouse.
You are rocking your whole camera right now.
I hit the stand.
Yeah, you're messing with your whole video feed. You know, he's got a great presence in the clubhouse. I'm glad he came back. You know, I thought it was a very stand-up thing to do to apologize to his teammates and then come back and, you know, walk us off. That was great.
Yeah, he could have not apologized at all. The fact that he walked it off, everybody would have been like, oh fuck. Yep. This motherfucker got up off his couch, came into the game, and walked us off.
Pretty much. I mean, you know, it was a really cool moment. I'm happy he's back. I think it'll be a great season for him. I'm excited to see how close he needed like 11 more home runs to join.
Yeah. I can't remember. I know.
I can't remember the number right off the top of my head, and I had it saved earlier and I've lost it. So that's good news for the Braves. Bad news for the Braves. Ronnie Acuna still having some wrist issues. We don't really know what's going to happen there. So everybody, fingers crossed. We're just going to hope for the best for him. I don't want to spend a lot of time on that because it makes me sad. The Phillies had an absolute disaster of a game. Did you see any of that?
What?
The Phillies nightmare meltdown defensively.
I don't watch peasant sports, so
it was really ugly. Like that's all. I'm not even gonna.
They got into their bullpen and their bullpen went to shit.
Well, it wasn't even just the bullpen. Like the actual position players were fucking up left and right too. Like a Phillies like broadcast guy was like, "This is embarrassing for the game of baseball."
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on it because it's the Phillies, but tighten it up, guys. The Nats ground crew disaster.
Oh,
Did you see that video? They forgot how to unroll a tarp and everything.
No, fuck the unrolling it. Someone rolled that up, fucked up.
Yeah.
When they started unrolling it, like it was all fucked up. Like that doesn't happen. Like somebody rolled it back up, fucked up.
Yeah, I was looking at that going, wow, somebody did a really bad job putting that tarp up last time.
Yeah.
They are going to the end result of that was that the game will be resumed tomorrow in the 6th inning in Baltimore with the Nationals as the home team.
Yeah, that was what, 4 days ago?
Yeah, this is
they lost again. They got swept by the
this is shit you'll never see this any other time but 2020.
So fucking wet, they couldn't play there.
Yeah. It wasn't gonna happen. Yeah. Let's talk about some scores from tonight. Let's see what we got going on here.
Yeah, the Braves didn't lose tonight.
The Braves did not lose tonight. Thank you, Jesus. We've got the Dodgers Padres. Shit, it's 11-2 in the bottom of the 7th in that game. Obviously, we know Mookie's had an insane night. The Mets beat the Nationals 8-2.
Yeah, I watched that.
Orioles beat the Phillies 11-4. The Rays beat the Red Sox 17-8.
Did you just say the Orioles beat the Phillies 11-4?
Yeah. Orioles beat the Phillies 11-4.
How many games have the Orioles won?
We'll look at that in a minute.
I'm going to look it up right now. You keep talking. I'll look it up.
We're going to look at the standings here in a second. I'm scared to see where the Orioles are at. Let's see. Rays, Red Sox 17-8. Pirates beat the Reds 9-6. There you go. That's not bad. The Cubs beat the Brewers 4-2, and then the Cardinals Tigers doubleheader was.
The Orioles are 10-7.
Isn't that crazy?
They have a fucking double A team.
This whole 2020 season is just something to.
That would be some shit. Orioles win the World Series.
You know what? The Orioles won the World Series the year I was born.
Did they?
They did, 1983.
That was like what, 1996?
1983.
Damn, I was trying to give you credits.
I won't call. It's been so long since the Orioles won the World Series. Somebody was going to look it up and see it anyway. So I'll just admit to it now. So standings today, of course, a little bit of this will change once the Dodgers game is over. In the American League Central Division, the Twins are 12-7. Tigers are 9-7, game and a half back. The White Sox are 10-9, 2 games back. The Indians 10-9, 2 games back. The Royals are 8-11, 4 games back. Eastern Division, the Yankees are 12-6. The Rays are 12-8. They're a game back. The Orioles are in 3rd place with a 10-7 record, a game and a half back. The Blue Jays are 6-9, 4.5 games back, and the Red Sox are 6-13, 6.5 games back.
What the fuck? I didn't even know they played that many games.
And that's 19 games. We are that far into the season.
Yeah, 6-13.
That's a sad year to be a Red Sox fan.
They won a World Series 3 years ago.
Yeah. They've kind of had the same shit happen that the Braves had. A lot of pitching problems this year. So, the Western Division, I'm in love with the American League West right now. The A's are 13-6. I like that number. The Rangers are 8-9. The A's are the only team with a winning record in the AL West.
Yeah. What are the Angels sitting at?
So the Rangers are 8-9. They're 4 games back. The Astros are 8-10, 4.5 games back. The Angels are 7-12, 6 games back. The Mariners are 7-13, 6.5 games back.
Oof.
That's not a pretty division at all this year.
No.
Kent Williams says 1983 is a great year to be born in. Shout out.
Y'all are old.
Shout out, Kent. So now let's go look at the National League. Central Division, the Cubs have a 13-3 record. Who saw the Cubs being like a team to beat this year?
Dude, they've been killing it this year.
They are. The Reds 8-11, 6.5 games back. That's crazy. 6.5 games back.
Who is?
The Reds in second place.
Where the fuck are where are the Brewers?
The Brewers are in third with a 7-10 record, also 6.5 games back.
Good Lord.
The Cardinals are in, and this is where it's horse shit. The Cardinals are in fourth place with a 2-3 record, 5.5 games back. Obviously demoted to fourth place for whatever because of all this COVID crap. But then that puts the Pirates in last place with a 4-13 record, 9.5 games back. No,
the Pirates are 4-13.
The Pirates are 4-13. It's not pretty.
They could come to Atlanta right now. They'd win 3 games.
The way we're going, they possibly. So the Eastern Division, I still think it's bullshit. The Marlins are 8-4. The Braves are 11-9, 1 game back. The Mets are 9-11, 3 games back. The Nationals are 6-9, 3.5 games back, and the Phillies are 5-9, 4 games back. That's the tightest division we've got in. Yeah. Well, no, I take that back. The NL West. We've got the Rockies at 12-6, the Dodgers at 12-7. The Dodgers are going to overtake that first place spot tonight with this win because it's only a half a game. Padres are 11-8. The fucking Padres are 11-8. A game and a half back from the Rockies. The Diamondbacks are 8-11, 4.5 games back, and the Giants are 8-12, 5 games back. This is the craziest baseball year ever.
What'd you expect?
I need you to get a little closer to your microphone, sir.
What did you expect? It's 2020.
I knew it was going to be crazy. I just think, I guess we should just buckle up and enjoy the ride. I want to thank everybody. Cape, you got any parting thoughts for us? Anything you want to say?
Yeah, I do. Can I get political for like 5 seconds?
Only for 5 seconds, because you know I don't do politics.
Cool. Arrest the men that killed Breonna Taylor and Black Lives Matter. That's all I have to say.
There you go. It's been a great night. Yeah. Good time. We want to thank Stephen Leonardi again. Now that I know how to say his name, I'm not afraid to say it out loud. Sorry, there was a gnat right in my face. Thank you guys for joining us. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook. We've got the YouTube channel up. All of those are Easy Out podcasts with the exception of the Instagram, which is Podcast Easy Out. You can find us on Twitch at Easy Out Podcast, Periscope at Easy Out Podcast. Obviously, we're on Twitter at Easy Out Podcast. We want to thank you guys for coming out tonight and joining us. Have yourself a drink. I'm all out right now. Have a great night, everybody. What?
I love you. This has been fun.
Yes, it has been fun. I love you too, Cape. You guys have a good night. We'll see you next time.
Face away from me, this ain't a game like monkey in the middle. Stop trying to solve me like a puzzle, look, I'm not a riddle. She tried to play me, but she doesn't know I'm not a fiddle. Draw me close, but won't keep it straight with me, all she know is scribble. I still pop like soda cans, on the other hand, you stay popping my bubble, don't know how to act. That type of move that you deal, is what kills on the real. It just hurts how I feel, so disturbing at will. Looking for it's like an intersection with a stop sign. Saying I don't have it in me, I'm still not in my prime. Going too hard in the paint all over you, what's the prime? You don't have any gas left in the tank, I know I got drive. People try to put me in the box and I'm like, free me. I see your cold shoulder, it is frozen.